It's always been that way, long as I can remember. Somebody must have thrown acid on it or something. Can't blame them much. She was
Very
a poisoner.
chill.
A poisoner? Yes. The story goes that one of my ancestors was responsible for her execution. Marie Dobray, her name was.
Oh, yes. I've read about her. Learned all the poison tricks from one of her lovers, guy by the name of Godin Saint Croix.
You guys know so much about poisoners.
We cops read now and then.
Did you say
Godin Saint
Croix?
That's French. We call it cross. Absolutely no limit to a cop's education, is there?
Okay, buddy.
But to get back to your wife, Mr. Depart, she was dressed like the famous Marie. Now, when Mrs. Henderson looked through that window...
Just a minute, Captain. Mrs. Henderson can't prove she saw a thing, and you know it.
What do you mean?
I mean you haven't any right to insinuate that my wife was in that room.
Well, who's insinuating? I'm trying to say that Mrs. Henderson, after thinking it over, realized that she was tricked by the costume. The woman she saw in the funny clothes, handing the cup of poison to your uncle, wasn't your wife at all.
What?
Because your wife is an unusually tall young woman. And the one Mrs. Henderson saw was fully half a head shorter. More on the order, let's say, of Mr. Stevens' wife.
My wife? Captain, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Why, what's the matter, Mr. Stevens? You're trembling like a leaf. Tell me now, just for fun, where was Mrs. Stevens that night?
She was home with me.
The whole evening?
Certainly.
She retired early?
Yes, we both did.
You, I suppose, were sound asleep by midnight.
Yes, I was.
Then how do you know where your wife was?
Well,
Look here, Stevens. She had to have a costume that would match Mrs. Despas. How did she manage that? Where did she get it?
Well, she never had one. She never had a dress like that.
And what about her motive? Why did she poison him?
I don't know.
Not for money, certainly. Then what was it? Hate? Did she hate?